So when most people think about investing, they think about all the money they've saved up and how they want to put that into the stock market to grow their money. But to make dollar cost averaging simple and effective, you need to rewire your mindset and habits on investing from square one, which is the way you organize and allocate your income and savings. If you recall, with dollar cost averaging, we're aiming to invest on a daily or weekly basis. It's kind of like a recurring schedule. Now, what else in our finances occurs on a recurring schedule? Well, our pay schedule, for most of us, happens on a recurring basis. Every 2 weeks, week, or month, we get the same amount of money deposited into our bank account. This applies more to people with a full-time job, but even if you're a student, you might be working part-time and you get a paycheck on a recurring schedule. Ideally, every time you get a paycheck direct deposited, you want the money to split into different paths. For example, say every 2 weeks you get a direct deposit of $1,500. You want a specific portion of that money allocated to necessity expenses, a specific portion allocated to your fun expenses, your emergency fund, and then to your investments. Now, I'm not going to get too much into money management, but essentially all we're doing is as soon as our paycheck comes in, we're allocating the money intentionally into different categories, which includes an investing category. What this means is that investing is not something you're doing with the extra money you have left over. No, it's a practice that happens on a recurring basis. You're intentionally taking a specific portion of your money from your paycheck, and it's already predetermined that you will invest that money for your future. No excuses. If you set up a system like this, or for our purposes, just fix how much of your bi-weekly paycheck you want to allocate to investing, it will make dollar cost averaging super simple. Say, for example, out of your $1,500 paycheck that comes every 2 weeks, you decide that you're going to put $150 to invest. All you would have to do is set up a recurring schedule to transfer money from your bank account your direct deposit goes to your investment account. This would automatically transfer $150 to your investing account every 2 weeks. I'll show you an example of how to do it using Wealthsimple in a bit, but the process is very similar regardless of the platform you're using. Now, on one side of things, we have money coming into our bank account that we want to invest. But for most of us, I'm confident that we have some extra money sitting on the side that we want to invest as well. Or you might be a student, or you own a business or side hustle, and your income might not be steady as a normal job. Regardless of the situation you're in, this is how I would approach organizing and planning your money and the way you want to invest for each year. First, figure out how much money you want to invest this year, like from January to December. Even if it's not January right now, just figure out how much money you want to invest by the end of December. You want to consider the money you have saved up and sitting on the side, but also add the money that you expect to allocate from every paycheck this year to investing. Once you have that amount, the next step is to determine which accounts you're going to invest that money in. If you connect back to Chapter 8, we talked about the different types of investing accounts, and I helped you figure out which investing accounts you should open. You want to consider your circumstances and prioritize certain accounts over others. I'm a Canadian and I personally have FHSA as my first priority, then my TFSA as my second priority. If you're American, you might have your Roth IRA as your first priority. You want it maxed out, or in other words, use all possible contribution room in the accounts we prioritize the most. Imagine these accounts are buckets. We want to fill up the buckets of top priority every year as much as possible. If you're in a situation where you're theoretically going to max out all the registered and special accounts that you've opened, and when I mean maxed out, I'm referring to you putting the maximum money into that account for the year, you should invest the rest of the money in a non-registered account. Yes, you'll have to pay taxes on it, but you still make a profit. Taxes just decrease that profit by a slight amount. It's not too big of a deal, and you still make money, so 100% you should invest in your non-registered accounts if you need to. If you're still not convinced, it's like saying, I'm not going to work because I don't want to pay taxes. No, you still work, but you understand that some of your income you have to pay as taxes. Same thing with investing. Like for me, if I had $20,000 to invest this year, I put $8,000 in my FHSA, which is the max contribution amount for this year. Then I put in $7,000 into my TFSA, because that's my max contribution for this year. I'll put the remaining $5,000 in a non-registered account. All that money you want to invest this year is in your bank account or will come to your bank account via a paycheck in the future. You have to set up a recurring schedule to transfer that money into your investing accounts. To do this, first take the total amount of money you want to invest into a specific account for this year. So I want to invest $8,000 into my FHSA. Then take the number of weeks remaining the year. Let's just say 50 weeks left in the year. Divide the investment amount by the number of weeks to see how much money you have to transfer on a weekly basis. So in this example, that would be $160. You also want to do the same process for each of the other investing accounts you want to invest in. I know I use Canadian investing accounts in this example, but it's going to work regardless of the country you're in. For my TFSA, I'm going to invest $6,000 each year. I divide that by 50 weeks to get $120. So I will set up a recurring transfer of $120 from my checking account to my TFSA. You should be able to do this on most online stockbrokers. I'm going to show you an example of how to do this on Wealthsimple. It's super easy and it's very similar regardless of the platform you're using. Once you get into your investing account, you click Add Money and then you specify the bank account you're transferring money from, and automatically you should see the destination, which is your investing account. If you find that your bank account is not showing up, that just means that you haven't connected to your bank account to your online stockbroker. So there's no way your online stockbroker knows where to get the money from. You have to specify which is your bank account that you want to connect to. You can do that by clicking on the button right here and just following the simple steps that they ask you to do. If you need a few minutes to do that, just pause this video and do that, and then come back and keep watching. So back to what I was saying, click on doesn't repeat and change it to weekly on whatever day it shows. Then click next and put the amount we want to transfer into this investing account on a weekly basis. We just determined that. Click next, check over the details, and press submit. Do the same process for each of your investing accounts that you open, including your non-registered account if you open that as well. And that's pretty much it. Now for the entire year, and even after that, money will be coming into each of your investing accounts automatically. Essentially, we're getting prepared to perform dollar cost averaging like I mentioned in chapter 9. Dollar cost averaging means investing happens on a recurring basis, and right now we have money coming in to our investing accounts on a recurring basis. Now we have money in our investing accounts, but we're actually not investing yet. If you leave the money as is, it won't grow in value because we haven't actually bought any stocks. So in the next few chapters, I'll show you how to do that.